Hello and welcome to Conversations with Esther tonight. 24th of September 2025. Our guest is in the house. Allow me to just pray, then we can kick off. Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for your goodness and faithfulness. Thank you for our guest and the listeners. We pray that we will learn, oh God, in this session. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Welcome. Welcome. Allow me to put this up on the screen just for us to, for those that have not been with us, allow me to, yeah, great. So welcome to Conversations with Esther. We have our fireside chats every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. And we handle different topics. We are on a series of Meet the CEO. And tonight we have the CEO for Optiven, sorry. sorry. It's because we have Optiven next week. Sorry, for Octagon Africa. Karibu sana. And I was speaking to Davis before the session, and he said this is his first public appearance as a CEO. Congratulations, Davis. We are happy to host you. Let's do a color check-in. Just there, go to your chat, your message box. I want us to find out, how are you doing? How are you doing today? A quick check-in for you. Green zone is I am managing well, calm, focused, engaged, balanced, keeping up with the routine. How many are feeling that way? How many are in yellow zone? I'm struggling a bit, tired, distracted, stressed a bit. You need to take a moment to reset. Let's go to the chat. How many are in the blue zone? I'm not coping. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sad. Persistent stress. It's time for you to reach out, explore support and options. How many are in the red zone? And I always say it is okay not to be okay. Crisis or you acute distress, panic, breakdown, intense sadness, it is time for you to look for professional help. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you? It's a quick
Ma'am,
check-in. Kindly let's mute. Kindly let's mute. So how are you feeling? How are you doing? It's important that you have the regular check-ins. Good.
Utasikia kulala saa mbili inaelekea.
Allow me to just mute this person. Thank you, Davis, for that. Conversations with Esther is an impact-driven professional platform that informs, educates you, and rebuilds mindsets on matters work, organizational culture, and holistic wellness. Now, we ignite ethical and authentic leadership, promoting best practice within industries. Conversations with Esther equips the workplace with relevant legal, human resource, and holistic wellness skills through training, motivational talks, end-to-end HR consultancy support, and mentorship programs. Now, guided by our three values, integrity, excellence, and impact, we envision a workplace transformed by professional conversations like what we are having today, respectable relationships, and intentional leadership. Now, we are big on wellness, and this is our wheel of wellness, the 7 pillars of wellness. Your physical wellness is important to us. We want to know how you are doing, and that's why we asked you, how are you doing? How are you doing on your physical wellness? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising? How are you feeling? Your mental wellness, are you taking care of your mental wellness? What are you consuming? How are you feeling? The stress levels? Are you taking good rest? How is your financial wellness? And I know Davis will speak to us on this as well. How are you doing on the financial wellness? What is your relationship with money? Are you telling your money where to go and not wondering where it went? Are you investing? Are you preparing for the years ahead? How is your social wellness? Who are you spending time with? How are you spending your time? Are you spending time with family and friends? Are you spending time with people that energize you? How is your spiritual wellness? Whatever faith you subscribe to, how is your spiritual wellness? How is your prayer life? How is your Bible study? How are you doing? How is your environmental wellness? It's not just about planting trees, it's also your work environment, your home environment. How is your intellectual wellness? Are you investing in yourself? Are you studying? Are you reading or having some audio learning sessions? So how are you doing? Which pillar do you think needs your attention in Q4? Just go to the messages, go to the chat box. Which of these pillars do you think you need to pay close attention to in Q4? We are moving into Q4. The year is coming to an end. Which one do you think you need to pay attention to? Is it your physical wellness, your mental, financial, social, spiritual, environmental, or intellectual? So this is our calendar for the year. We are doing very well. We are now on number 8, which is this Saturday. We have a movie and bowling session. And there you are. This is what we will be doing this Saturday. Join us for a fun day out at the Sarit Center. We will have a movie. We'll go watch a movie and we will be doing bowling. So we are meeting at 3 p.m. at Sarit. Bowling is 500 shillings. Movie is 900 bob. Payment is made directly to Sarit. Now, if you intend to watch the movie and you have your 3D glasses, please bring them along. If you don't, you will need to buy at the gate. Kindly, let's keep in touch. As the session goes on, I will post our wellness group link, and you will be free to join for more information. But you can WhatsApp the number down there. You can take a photo of it. I'll still share it as well, so that we move with speed, and you will get more information from our admin. So here we are today, the 5-week series. This is our session number 3. The first one, we had the CEO for Kepro, Mr. James Odongo. Then we had the CAM, Kenya Association of Manufacturers CEO, Mr. Tobias Alando last time. Today we have Davis Ongiro of Octagon Africa. Next week we have Dr. Washiori of Optiven, and we will close with the CEO and Executive Director of IHRM, Madam Kuresha, on the 8th of October. So after 10 long years of waiting, Davis finally landed the corner office at Octagon Africa. Growth is progressive and requires patience, focus, skills, and intentionality. 10 years, he must have been intentional. Now, the corporate ladder gets a little steep and sometimes feels slippery, but you must firmly maintain the grip. Now, tonight, we learn the secrets to his career success and the common mistakes to avoid. Now, Davis Ongiro is the CEO of Octagon Africa, Kenya, a role in which he has demonstrated exceptional capability in executing strategic initiatives, delivering measurable impact, and steering the organization through a period of transformation. Now, over the past 11 years at Octagon Africa, he has advanced through key leadership roles, each underscoring his capacity to translate vision into actionable results. His journey within the organization has been of tremendous growth, having held various positions over time. Prior to joining Octagon Africa, Davis built a strong foundation in financial services and client relationship management through positions at the National Bank of Kenya, ACCA Global, and CIC Life Insurance. Davis holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Actuarial Science, a diploma in theology, a diploma in pensions, and completing a diploma in insurance at the College of Insurance, and an ongoing MBA at the University of East London. His leadership toolkit is further enriched by specialized training in finance management through UNICAF University and advanced leadership and coaching programs, equipping him to lead both strategic foresight and operational precision. Now, Davis is a recognized thought leader in pensions, investment, and insurance industry, combining industry insight with a forward-thinking approach to navigate emerging trends and market shifts. Now, his leadership style is marked by a blend of innovation and disciplined execution, ensuring that strategic vision is not only articulated but fully realized. Now, Davis is in the room. Karibu sana, Davis. I will give the floor to you. We are eager to learn and hear how you got up there or how you got to the corner office. They say, nice girls don't get the corner office. I hope you have read that book for those that are in the room. It's a very, very good book. Now, Davis will tell us how he got into that corner office. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Esther. I will actually start from where you've left. I think I'm a nice girl. I think so. But really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther, for having me. Thank you, team, for joining and listening to my story. I am greatly honored. I'm greatly honored. As I said, this is my first of public interactions. My first of public interactions. So I got into the position I am on effective 1st of September. So it's been up and down. And I am greatly honored to be here and to meet wonderful people and interact with each one of you. I am hoping we will learn, all of us, we will share, and I'll take home a few experiences from here, even as you do. I just finished the diploma, Esther, for insurance today. I was doing my last exam. So I have a few other things that are pending. So it's reducing each one of them a day. So thank you so much. I really appreciate and my name once more is Davis Ongiro. I work at a company called Octagon Africa Financial Services. I am trying to share my screen, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me, because I'm wondering where is. So if you give me a minute.
That's okay. That's fine.
I don't know why. It wants to. Yeah. Let me hope I can be able to share that. If I am not able to, so as I do that, Octagon Africa, we are a financial services group headquartered here in Kenya. So we are located in different countries. So that is Kenya as the headquarters. We are in Uganda and Zambia. And what we do pensions administration, we do consulting, we do investments. This year we got a license to operate money market funds. So we should be seeing us in media in a few days to come, talking about a great product which we have come to revolutionize in the market, money market fund. This you won't find anywhere. We have a different way. We have studied how the market is, and we are trying to make sure that we get you something that we just can't find elsewhere. So we also do insurance brokerage, as I've said. We are among the fastest growing pensions administrators in this country. In fact, when you talk about the top league, we could be the youngest in the top league, and that could be the top 3 or the top 4 thereabout. And we thank God because of the far we've come from. I think previously, as Esther has mentioned, you have hosted our group CEO here called Fred Waso and the founding director, who has also been in the industry for a long time. So sorry, I've not been able to share these slides. I don't know what's happening, but I can talk through, and I can always drop the profile to Esther to be able to help me distribute. So that's what we do in these different countries. We also do consulting. So if you, for example, want actuarial services, you want strategic plans for your pension scheme, you need to know how much money will you retire with. That is really important for each one of us. I normally talk to people and tell them, look here, each one of us, there are 3 things which we must make sure we have in retirement. And one of them is money. Cash is king, everyone. And this retirement, if you go without money, you will be a very frustrated human being. I'm not a prophet of doom, but your longevity in retirement is almost proportionate to how much are you able to afford a few issues in retirement, which include your medical care and, of course, social capital. But cash is king, so that is what we make sure we help people on every single day to be able to achieve that type of goal. So whether you want to set up a pension scheme, whether you want to join, you don't want to set up, but you want to join an existing scheme, whether it is individual or as an organization, whether you want to contract out your NSSF Tier 2 contribution so that the full amount doesn't go to NSSF, part of it, you take it to a private scheme. That we do, and we have a very good solution in the market that you can really enjoy with very good returns and very good service. That's what we do. So we have quite a number of clients. As I've said, we are among the fastest growing and quite a number of clients in the country. At an individual level, there are many options you have as a human being about managing your finances. Most of us are living hand to mouth, and hand to mouth. I don't mean that we are completely poor, but our financial health is headed to the south, mostly because we are paying Fuliza. We borrow to pay Fuliza, pay another mobile loan, move from one mobile loan, pay a bank, move from a mobile loan, pay this, pay that. We are living a very expensive life that is putting us have a run for our money every single month. And that for some of us, we try to encourage people, advise people on things that you can do to get a better financial health or life. And for many, it has worked. Some of us have went and borrowed money from banks. And those banks, we have ended up buying dead assets. We'll talk about this one day when Esther allows us to be able to discuss that. So we are busy repaying debt for things that are not actually giving us return on investment. And And most of it, you come to realize that you were advised by somebody who could be the equivalent of the age of your parent about some investment, some of it which was really not genuine advice. You'll appreciate that the education we get in university does not equip us with so many life issues. I normally make a joke. I was in a certain university a few days ago, and I'm telling people that in this age and era, we are still teaching people about HIV and AIDS and as a common unit. And I was asking them whether they really think HIV and AIDS is the greatest problem we have in this country. And each one of them, including the professors who are there, were agreeing that HIV/AIDS is not the greatest problem. And the greatest problem we have is financial discipline, and that no one has been able to help us get out of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we really do to make sure that we help people. When we get opportunity one day, we'll talk about which are the other alternative investment that can give you return on investment. If you want to put a portfolio, which areas do you need to look at? If you want to pick on an investment, what are the critical factors should you look for an investment and all that? So that's what we do day to day. And we can always have conversations. If you want us to come and talk to your staff and train them about investment planning, financial planning, those who are retiring, talk about retirement, is something that we can also be able to help you. But to the topic of the day, so that I don't end up spending more time on the other side, is I want to say that the Lord has really been good. I have sold everything. I fairly come from a fairly poor background. I don't know whether I want to call it poor, because I don't agree with the thing, humble background. But then I came from a peasant home, so I've gone to a day school in college, in high school. I've been to a public primary school. I wouldn't say that I've had privilege on a few issues or a few things in life. But God has really been good. I've been having very supportive parents all along. You will easily see that even in the moment of lack, they are really doing everything to be able to put everything in place. And during those years, I've also gone to a public school. Of course, I went to a public university, did actuarial science. When I was doing actuarial science, I also got tempted to do a diploma in theology. And after college, of course, is when I've been able to do the other things that I've been able to do academic-wise. But all this, if I take you where I come from, you won't believe that name. You try to look for it in the map, you might easily find it. It's near Kisii town. But it's a place where if I took you today, you will appreciate that God also tries to uplift people's lives in a very different way. When I went to college, one of the things that my dad told me, because he's a taxi driver, so when he got a calling letter to university, he took the calling letter to his fellow taxi drivers in town and asked them, what do you think about this course? And those guys told him, look here, that boy is going to do things that he doesn't understand, and he's not going to make it. Go tell him to get a course like education or nursing to start doing, which is really a good thing. But I wasn't. So the instructions I had from home is, when going to university, this is what you must do. You must make sure you go and change what you are doing and become a teacher. So, of course, for the first time, I disobeyed my father and said, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. And I really did it. I really did it. But when I finished college, I realized actually what I did is not what I am passionate in. So I am more passionate in talking to people, telling stories, selling, feeling, giving something to the community. And so just before, maybe back, I went and every long holiday, when we used to go for long holiday, I started for volunteering. So one of the places I did volunteer, went to an insurance company and volunteered. and started selling policies, life policies. Each one of you has been met an insurance policy seller. And they will agree with me that's not the easiest job to ever do in this world. But it's the best job to ever do because it really helps open up your mind. It helps you meet the people who help shape you up. And but importantly, you get quite a lot of experience out of that. And that was what helped me at some point with the ACCA Global as a brand ambassador to sell the ACCA exams, not exams, the courses that I've also done and worked at a bank, also tried to sell loans. And that's where I got. So cumulatively, by the time I finished university, I had some good amount of experience. And one day, Twitter is just when Twitter was just coming, and I opened a Twitter account, my Twitter account, and I was logging in, and I see this particular company, and I asked them whether you have internship. They tell me no, we don't have internship, we don't have any openings. But if you don't mind, please send your CV. And I did that. So I had been very frustrated with what I was doing. I was very frustrated with what I was doing. So on a Sunday morning, before I went to dig, I went to the shamba. I dropped the CV to where I'd been asked to send on email, and somebody reached out funnily on a Sunday and asked me a few questions about my CV. That happened to be the guy in charge of sales, and that's how I landed an interview at the end of January, about 11 years ago. And of course, fates will have it, I really did very well in my sales job. And happened that at some point my branch manager resigned, and I had really done well. In fact, at some point I was doing better than my own branch manager. At some point was the acting branch manager. At some point, due to performance, became a business development manager. At some point also did relationship management. At some point also did operational work in the business. At some point became a senior manager in business development and relationship management. And at some point, before COVID, I was approached to be able to run with our insurance brokerage business at Octagon. And that's how I got back myself into insurance. I had taken a break for quite some time to focus on pensions. And that's how I got appointed as the general manager for Octagon Insurance Brokers, Kenya. That I've been running with. At some point then, about 3-4 years ago, again, I was given an opportunity to be the general manager for business development for the Kenyan business as a group. That is the most recent experience I've had, to the point where I got appointed as the acting CEO this February to act as the acting CEO for the Kenyan business. So for context, Octagon is more of it is a group business. So there's the pensions administration, which is a company of its own, insurance brokerage, a company of its own, trust services, a company of its own, and the Institute of Pension Management, which is also a company of its own. So that's a conglomerate of almost 4 companies that we are looking after. And I would say that God has been good, but all along, a lot has had to do with the performance. And that will really take me to the point where I wanted to talk about a few things on what I've also been able to learn during my journey. And for you'll appreciate, I am really I really talk a lot. Maybe that's why I do what I do. But I have learned a few things. I've learned a few things in the few days that Lord has allowed me to be here. Is that if you have an opportunity to do something, you must do it very well. There is no room for mediocrity, and that I think I have always told myself that if whatever I'm given as an opportunity to be able to do, I do it as if I'm doing it to God. I don't care whether another human being is seeing. I make sure that I'm accountable to the person who is not even, who I can't even be able to see. And that has really guided me a lot. I am a strong believer. I go to church. I've served the church even at some point as a deacon, but I strongly believe that we should be able to walk the talk. Okay, how does that English go? I must make sure that we do what we are saying. We are saying, and we must be able to remain accountable. And integrity should be able to be the center of everything that we do. Look here, and I relate to this a lot. This country where we are, all of us are living in this country. All of you have heard a story about in the early 1960s. All of us were, in fact, Kenya was doing much better than Singapore. And right now, when you look at per capita income for Kenya and Singapore, in US dollars, per capita income for Singapore is in almost 90,000, 80,000, 90,000 per capita. For Kenya, it's actually less than 5,000 per capita income in US dollars. The difference between us and that and Singapore has been that how we do things. Most of us, even at the places where we work, when we are given an opportunity to be able to work, we do the bare minimum. We do the bare minimum. I wish there gets a point even when our political leaders, when given an opportunity, they actually go their way, make sure they do what they must be able to do, so that we must also get to a point where we hold them much accountable. The way we hold people in the office. If somebody has not met their KPIs, if somebody doing things as per the JD, we put them on PIP. And when we put them on PIP, it's a riot act. We are reading to them that, look here, you must step up and do the right thing. And I think that has guided me a lot. I normally tell myself that if Kenya had done the same thing that Singapore did, if we made the tough decisions, if somebody stood up and said, look here, whatever we are doing is wrong, and we must be able to do the right thing. And if somebody had held people accountable and to the end, and also led by example, because it's quite easy for us to tell people to do what they must do, but we completely do the opposite. I honestly try to make sure that I do what exactly I'm telling my people. So if it's selling, I actually sell myself. If it's looking for clients, I also go out and look for clients. If it's holding a spade, I also pick the spade and actually throw the sand, just like it is to lead by example. I have learned in this world, it's easier to influence people as a leader by doing what you are supposed to do, so that they can actually be able to see that, look here, whoever is guiding us to do this is also actually doing it. I make sure as much as possible, all of us know people who also take credit. We know leaders who end up chest thumping around. I don't come from that school of thought. I actually do the work where it is supposed to be done, or help or support, but the credit for that all goes to the people that are behind me. I don't want to look like I'm the type of person who is competing with myself to take credit from my bosses. I sign up clients, I get things done sometimes, but I don't go telling my bosses that, look here, this is what I've been able to do. I think this is what we have been able to do, and that is how I package that type of information. It's a thing that as I have learned over time. I love a book written by Simon Sinek, which is Leaders Eat Last. Why Leaders Eat Last? I don't know if any one of you has read that book, but I really love that book. I take time to read it and read it again. But I feel that as leaders, we are coming from a generation that where leadership used to be viewed from a different angle. Things have changed. Gen Zs right now, you can't be able to do things that were being done in the 80s. Sorry about that. I'm catching a cold. Gen Zs are a different lot. They want to ask questions and they want to feel like somebody actually took time to be able to respond. And that has really helped us be able to support them on the things that they need. Things keep changing. There is no shoe that fits it all, I wouldn't say that. There are things that are changing every single day and really quite fast. It's only people who don't change that end up becoming obsolete. So I have learned to also be adaptable and get to know that things look here change. And you'll easily realize that most of the time, some of us you get to the temptation as a leader to provide leadership, but you also don't listen. I come from the school of thought that look here, each one of us can be wrong at a certain a certain time of the day. I talk about my personal stories that I have learned from the best and I've learned from the worst. So when it comes to doing the right thing, the right thing has to be done. I've had people who I report to and they don't listen. And I get to the point and tell myself, I hope I don't become that type of leader who also doesn't listen, or I don't end up becoming that leader who is toxic, who is making the life of other people difficult. When you go home, you are so worried about your job because of this and that. I hope I am not. I hope I am not that one. Of course, my people will talk about. I don't want to drum up for myself, but that's where I'm coming from. I tend also to think about remove myself from the picture and look at the bigger picture. Sometimes it's quite easy to forget everything and focus on yourself, but I also try to look at the bigger picture. These things are not all about me. This job is not about me. I know and understand that I'm here as a passing wind. We should be able to also mentor other people who can easily take up the roles that we are currently doing. And I think if there is anything as a leader you must be able to do is to make sure that you really leave a legacy, and the legacy is making sure that you have grown people. In fact, you are preparing to fire yourself. So that I keep telling every day myself that succession planning is a big headache for me every single day. How do I make sure that there is somebody who can run this shop in case I go home and I'm sick and I can't come the following morning? That's what I think we should be able to do and live by it every single day. So I have my story is not short, is long. I can be able to tell it the whole day, but I can also be able to shorten it. I have learned that I must be able to be ready to learn every single day. That's what has been able to help me for the few days. I always tell someone that we do in the pension space in the office. When I became a branch manager, I used to volunteer when relationship managers come. I used to volunteer and drive them to meetings and when they come, I help them prepare the reports and the summary of the action items from the meeting and go tell them. One of the gentlemen, I used to do every work for them and volunteer. But I really wanted to learn how exactly does he do what he does? And what can I be able to learn? And I have always told myself that if I have to go far, I must be able to learn from those who have actually gone ahead of me. So I got to do relationship management, and I think I'm really good at it. But maybe I can actually learn every single day how to be a better person when it comes to relationship management. But I have learned how that is. So that is what has been my journey. I have. If you look at the CV, it looks much faster. It has moved much faster, but I think it's everyone has their plan. I have had scenarios where I had even at some point accepted positions and I told my line manager, look, I'm accepting this position, but I don't want a salary increase for this particular reason. I actually want to learn first. Of course, that has both sides of the coin. I would advise somebody else to do the same thing. That has both sides of the coin. But as we say, you get to learn. So some things are really good, but you also learn because I've also made mistakes. I think so. I think I've also made mistakes. And I think we have to agree, just like each one of us probably comes from a home or you come from a house. Each day, if spouses fight, but they have to make things intentionally, and those things have to happen, and people have to agree to disagree every single day. It's not like when we disagree, we become enemies. It actually becomes a moment of reflection for each one of us and help us to be able to get to learn from each one of us, because when we disagree, we also complement each other. Esther, that's my story. That's my story. I came from a house. The ethos I've learned is not that I have also gotten, they fall from somewhere. I came from a military home, just like most of us who grew a few years ago before the Gen Z movement were born. We grew in military homes. So that has helped me shape on how I look at things. I'm generally a very positive person. I learned that from my dad. I have a few things that I've learned from my mom, but I picked a few more from my dad because I know things can go wrong when they want to go wrong. Some things, no matter how much you work so hard to make them correct, they will still go wrong. But every single day, we must be able to learn what we must be able to control and those that we can't be able to control, so that we don't spend things on. There's something that Richard Koch writes in his book, of course, talking about the Pareto's principle. We spend 80% of our time, of our resources to get results of 20%. It only needs us to see how are we able to convert that ratio and focus more on the 20% that can be able to give us the 80% of the results. It takes time, it takes discipline, it takes understanding, and yeah. I'm really a social person. I sometimes now with this position, Esther, I have to admit now I have to. There is expectation of society here and there. How you should look like, how you should dress, how you should talk like. I work so hard every single day to see am I able to fight. How am I able to make sure that I am looking like a CEO. I'm smelling like a CEO. I'm talking like a CEO. I hope I don't get back to default. I am. Those who follow me on Facebook will agree with me. Sometimes I make too many jokes. So, but I am a family man. So when I get home, I also take care of my 2 sons and a daughter. When it is church time, I also do what I must be able to do. There is some level of work-life balance. I encourage each one of us to at least make sure that you're able to do that. When I'm able to go to the golf course, I also try to go there and try the swings and get things done. And as we make sure that we are able to do what we are able to do. I don't know whether there is something more that Esther I need to talk about. I thought I should pause there and see whether we have reactions and whether we have questions, we have comments. I'm really open to that. If you are able to also type the questions, we can also be able to respond to you, each one of them. But I also thought it's important for me to encourage each one of us, as the book, of course, Esther quoted the book, Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. It's a favorite book. It's a book that I spent 2 years ago. I was buying every friend of mine who is a lady. When it was their birthday, I used to buy them that book and give them to read. It's each one of us has a different story, has a different path. Some of us want to get to a certain point. Some of us don't want to get to a certain point. It is okay to respect people's admirations and aspirations. If you can be able to be an enabler, be an enabler. If you can be able to support, please support. But I say my story, if it inspires you, if it gives you some level of encouragement, if there are any issues that you can pick, if there are a few lessons that you can learn from me, so be it. But I wish to encourage each one of us that in the opportunities that God has given us, if you believe, for those of us who believe in God, there is a particular reason why you have been placed at the particular reason where there is a reason why you've been placed at the very position you are at a very particular day. If you don't have a job, if you are looking for a job, there is a plan that God has for each one of us. And that plan that God has for each one of us, at his own appointed time, it will actually come to happen. We can think about how we are sad and some things have not gone the way they are supposed to be. But timing, there is a timing for everything, and that timing is coming for you, and that blessing is coming. And it's just for me is to encourage each one of us that the simple opportunity we've been given, we make sure we do them well. I normally talk to young people, and the young people, I normally tell them that your papers, your qualifications really help you get the job. And Esther is a HR person. I hope I don't get into trouble. But the papers really help you get the job. But what keeps you in the job, what makes sure that you grow through the ladder, and that has nothing to do with really my experience, are some unwritten rules, are some unwritten things that that happen, and we need to be aware of them. There is a book called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School, written by Mark Cormack. I actually happen to have it on my desk here. And it talks about so many issues, but some of the issues that it talks about is how do you relate with people? We need to be intentional how we are able to observe and see how things are. Most of the time, we forget and talk a lot, and forget to observe how things are. And McCormack says there are people skills matter more than paper qualifications. So it's something to have qualifications. But me and you know that there are people who are really good at what they do, but when it comes to people skills, they are really struggling. I feel there needs to be a balance on both sides. Be really good at what you need to do, but also try to not to live like you are in an island. Execution, and I've talked that about integrity in business and networking. There are things. There's a lady, she's called Monica Karanja, CHRP Monica Karanja. She told me one day, Davis, at some point, you have to invest in yourself. And the best investment you'll ever do is by yourself, is to make sure that you equip your thought process. You buy yourself books, you deny yourself some luxury and buy yourself books, take yourself back to school. Get some things, deny yourself some things and be able to make yourself different from the rest of the other people, because it's quite easy for us to really complain from morning to evening about things, how things are not right, forgetting that we can actually make things different by doing things different. And the other last thing, which I normally is almost really an important thing, is networking. This is opportunity like the one Esther has given us here today. I get to see more people that I've never met. I've seen Christine. I've never met Christine. I've seen Roberto. And I wish now it was even a physical conversation where you can meet and discuss and network, get to learn people as they also get to learn you. And that networking really goes a long way. It goes a long way, and it helps each one of us to be able to learn from each other, but also be able to grow our networks here. Thank you, Esther. I want to stop there, and I really thank you for this opportunity. I see I have 5 minutes to time, so that I leave some time for interaction. I thank you, Esther.
Wow. Thank you. That's amazing. I love it when you say, I agree. You're not in trouble, because there are people who have the best of papers, but when you place them in the midst of other people and colleagues, something just ain't working. People's skills are very, very important. And even for the top seat, actually, you, I shared a clip by the CEO of Safaricom, and I like his thought process. He said, when you're the CEO, stop
Mm,
performing the roles of other people. You are not
correct.
the head of sales. You are not the head of
Mm,
HR. You're not the head of
mm,
procurement.
correct,
You
correct.
are the person that equips them, empowers them, supports them. You
Mm,
are
mm,
overseeing them. So
mm.
don't be found selling. And I
You
like
end
it
up
when
being everywhere.
you said
Mm,
that you pray that you don't slide back into. It's actually for you now. It's a very tricky ground because you've been
mm,
hands on, and all of a sudden someone says, Davis, you're not supposed to do this, and you're wondering, so what am I supposed to do? I'm just asking, what is the biggest mistake you have made in your career journey? As I open the floor for Eunice, Joy, Christine, Faith, and the others, what is
mm.
the biggest mistake?
Um, the biggest mistake I've ever done is a financial mistake.
Mhm,
I made wrong decisions financially, got into too much trouble with finances,
mhm,
and uh, and uh, and um, and I really got into trouble for quite some time because the recovery took a bit of time. So a bit of time, but two issues. One is another one is a people. Long time ago, I used to speak a lot before I think. So one particular time, I lost a friend of mine, and the friend of mine, the main reason that happened is I got to learn the now these things of getting into people's lives, and I think it's not a good thing. I got to tell her, look here, I found your boyfriend is having different plans, and you are not involved. And I thought I was doing the right thing. Look here, you are my friend. Look here, what should I do? Morally, I feel like I should speak, which I did, and it got me into too much trouble because the lady thought I'm actually mocking, and we stopped being friends for 5 years, and we wouldn't speak to each other. And I felt she misunderstood me, but she felt I also mocked her, so a whole misunderstanding. But the last one is it's a mistake that almost happened, but I really learned out of it. I had a staff who, for some reason, disappeared from the office and wouldn't be found for 2-3 days. And something inside me was telling me, Davis, this person, there are two things. Is either she's having problems and she's not alive, or she's alive. But the spirit was telling me that there is no way this person is in trouble. This person is just having a moment of their lifetime elsewhere. And I woke up and prepared a shokos because I've looked for 3 days, 4 days, prepared a shokos letter. And somehow there is something that was not clear in the letter. So I told myself, let me sleep over it. Tomorrow morning, I'll be able to deal with it. Tomorrow morning, I find the lady in the office miraculously, and something tells me to find out how you're doing. And she breaks down and she tells me she confessed. Of course, she didn't do her proper communication, but she was dealing with her dad who was at stage 3 cancer at Tempisha Hospital. And I told myself, Jesus Christ, Davis, if I released that Shoko's letter last night, she will be dealing with two issues. She has a Shoko's letter. She has a father who has third stage cancer. And I told myself, look here, not all problems need to be solved the same day. Some problems can actually wait. Not everything is urgent that is really urgent. I learned and calmed down and I think I had some 5K, took some 3K, gave the lady. But look here, that stuff is in my office up to today, and she's the best performing lady up to today. I don't know whether that was a mistake or it was a story.
Wow. 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 They're tough lessons for leadership. And we are very quick sometimes. And because you are
Yeah,
that
yeah.
helm of power where you can make a decision very fast. We make decisions sometimes without thinking about the impact of it or
Yeah,
implication. And
yeah,
thank God,
yeah.
thank God you obeyed. So I don't know whether we have anyone who needs to. Faith, you can unmute. I see Faith is Faith, are you able to unmute?
Thank you so much, Esther.
Mhm.
Good evening, all. And Davis, apologies, I came quite late. I was doing the step up challenge, but gladly I'm here. I got the conversation going on. Esther, thank you for this series. It is really molding us as we climb this ladder. And David, the last story that you mentioned, honestly, that's a lesson for all of us, especially for HR professionals, because our staff is not communicating, he or she is not picking calls, and you hastily go on taking the next step without knowing. That's a lesson for us HR professionals to have humanity. Thank you so much. And think I had a question, but it evaporated. But once I remember it, I'll share via the chat box. Otherwise, Davis, thank you so much. And you're very authentic.
Wow.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Faith.
Yes. Sometimes when you ask people for their mistakes, some of them seem like they've never made silly mistakes. We all make very serious mistakes. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And I love listening to the late Miles, and this is it. This is what I do personally. If I have a weakness and I identify I have a weakness in a specific place, now I would look for messages. And Dr. Miles was not soft. So you look for messages that address your problem. You see, if you have an issue with speaking fast and not thinking through issues, or you have an issue with temper and anger, look for messages that speak to that and take the advice you get. It is important, and I know that the role is a high pressure job. So
Yeah.
you have to really be very careful on how you make decisions, because your decisions don't just impact an organization, but they also impact livelihoods.
People's lives, people's
Yes,
families,
yes,
even
yes,
people's health. Even people's
yes,
health, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's just
mm,
important, because I like when Miles says, when you walk into the room, your mood impacts the entire room. When the CEO
mm,
comes into the office very angry, everyone is scared. All of a sudden,
mhm,
people are scared
mm,
and they don't know what next. They don't know what decision you're going to make. So you really have
mm,
got to manage your emotions, um, regulate your emotions as a CEO, and regulate
mm,
yourself. Watch your
mm,
words,
mm,
possibly for lack of. Watch what you say, because what you say is almost Bible truth about an
mm,
organization. When the CEO
mm,
says we are in trouble financially, I don't think anyone would question that statement. It
mm.
causes a lot of panic.
It's
So
gospel truth.
yeah, so where you've now moved as a CEO of Octagon Africa, I know I have interacted with Octagon for quite a long time, for quite a long time, and I appreciate the work that you're doing. I appreciate Fred. We've worked
Mm,
closely. He's been a speaker in some of my events, and I like his leadership. You're now in.
mm.
We've actually been given a very big shoe.
To fit in.
They say you might not fit, but one way or the other, drag it. drag it
Yeah.
and see that
You gotta move. You gotta move.
gotta move. So I saw a hand up.
Tina.
Akal, Tina, yes, proceed.
Thank you so much and good evening, everyone. My name is Tina Akal, and I am so elated to be amidst professionals who have a wealth of wisdom and experience. And thank you so much to our co host for the profound insights and stories of how you have maneuvered so far in life. I am about to graduate, so I find this wisdom so like the real world, like stepping into the real world that we're told normally when you finish school, you're stepping into the real world. So I found it very profound and a bit scary, but great. So besides that, I had a question concerning, I think you talked about investments, or was it something around there? My network was a bit unstable, but I was just wondering, do you also offer rates that are suitable for youths, or now once we are done being students, we are no more like every other person on the same level with the youths, um, with everyone who is no longer a youth? Yes, I hope that makes sense. Thank you, and back to you.
You have a nice question, Tina. Thanks for the compliments on the investment. It's a very nice question you are asking at your age because when doing investment modeling, part of the critical factors that advisors look at, one of them is age. And age gives, the younger you are, gives you a much better advantage than somebody who's much older, because you have two things. That one, you have a longer time, a longer horizon for you to be able to make investments, be able to put them in areas where they can be able to get return for much longer time. You can do high risk, high return types of investment because you are young and you have quite some time. And we have those type of products. So a much customized way, whether it's money market fund, whether it's a personal pension scheme where you need to start putting in money, whether you need to start learning how to invest in treasury bills, treasury bonds, whether you want to buy stocks, you want to buy, those are the same as shares, whether you want to do some fixed income type of investments. There is something, especially for younger people, we have quite a lot of areas which you can invest. We have a money market, as I mentioned. We have a personal pension scheme which you can be able to invest. We can also be able to do much more advisory when it comes to investment. And the investment, you don't have to have a lot of money. You can just be having some 3,000, some 5,000 shillings a month that you want to put away, and put that money away. You will appreciate that the greatest thief in your house is not actually your spouse or your children, it's actually yourself, because you are the one who puts money in some locked mobile money. You get tempted and do some shopping that you hadn't planned to do. And that financial discipline, if you inculcate it when you are much younger, it helps you run a more balanced type of financial life, and helps sort a few of your issues. I normally put this on a light note, is that if you look at most of your problems, each one of us who is here, if you look at most of your problems, they can actually be solved, each one of them, by money, except for sickness. Some others are actually solved by money. So why don't we all of us be strategic and start asking ourselves, how do we actually invest the money? Savings is not the same as investment. So putting money in your bank account is not investment. Those people use your money and go and invest and give you some 3%, 5%. So who is fooling who here? They are using your money to be able to make investments. So how about you actually invested? Actually, you got somebody to take you through investment structuring. So Tina, directly to your question is yes, there are plans which we have, and we can always email you on every option that we have. I'll at some point be able to share my email address and probably my phone number, so that just in case we need to escalate the conversations, I can also be able to see how that is done.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. And you're very eloquent. Very, very eloquent. Now I've seen is it administrator? Someone with the name administrator. Is your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, proceed. You can go on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you, Bwana CEO. My name is Steve Ainea, and I just wanted to ask one question. I don't know whether it's me alone who normally experience this. When you don't have money, you really have good plans on how you want to invest, but once the money hits your account, everything changes. One who normally experience this. So maybe if you can put some clarity on that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think money is very nice. Money, when you have money can run you mad. Money can make you a small king in 3 minutes. And money can ruin you completely in a few days. And whatever happened, the psychology of money, there is a book, I hope your name is Steve. There is a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. If you don't mind, please buy that book and read. I really encourage people to be able to read books sometimes so that you can also be able to see what other people are saying. But one of the things that the writer talks about in that particular book, and really which resonates with each, should resonate with each one of us, is for every 10 shillings that you earn, every single month, you must forcefully ensure that a shilling is put aside in a bag. This shilling, next month you add, the bag continues becoming heavy. That is how things work. And you end up accumulating wealth. And now, if you can be able to accumulate wealth, you also be able to learn how to be able to multiply that wealth. But I'll tell you something. Each one of us have a money problem at a certain point. Sometimes we lose focus quite a bit. But there are ways which you can be able to discipline yourself. So, for example, you can decide that you must be able to save 5,000 shillings to a SACCO every single month. A good example, Muhasibu, Stima SACCO, and all those type of SACCOs. You have the option of telling your HR, please deduct it at payroll. Let the money not touch my account. If it is a pension, if you are in a pension scheme, you can tell your HR to deduct you additional voluntary contribution at source and send it to the pension scheme direct. If it's what else? An insurance policy, it can be able to be deducted at payroll. Each one of us, when money gets to the bank account, it confuses us a bit. But the other important part, Steve, which I'll say, because I know I can speak a lot about money, is we need to learn, each one of us, to live within our means, number one. But number two, and we must be able to be intentional about it. It's some discipline. It is hard. It's difficult. It takes a bit of time. But if you start doing it, at some point, you'll do it very well. But importantly, each one of us must be able to learn to do budgets. Every single month, you must be able to list all your outflows and know how you are able to finance them. And if you have a spouse, make sure that the two of you come together and sit and agree, this is the money I am going to get this month, this is the money. Men normally don't like doing that. And unfortunately for the men that are here, I normally say, it's a nice thing for each one of us to sit down and talk and know how much resources we have, so that when somebody wakes up mid-month and starts asking for salon money, and we discuss the budget, surely that is being unreasonable, because look here, that should have been put in the budget when we're doing the budget at the beginning of the month, so that you are not forced, because you fear from disappointing your spouse. Now you go borrowing from Shylocks, or you give yourself a lot of pressure with money, and that is where the source of all your problems get to start. Get budgets. And nowadays there are apps you can do an Excel sheet. There are apps which you can be able to use and guide. And importantly, I don't know whether this was I was supposed to say this, Esther. be open in money discussions with your spouse. You guys must find a way how to sit down and discuss your finances together and agree what you are going to do with money together. There is a socialization that has been done that your money is my money and your money is our money. Yeah, quite easy to say until you realize that it's too late and you should have guys sat down and discussed how to build wealth together. Steve, I think it's Steve or administrator. I've forgotten the name.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think you need a session on money. Looks like we need a section on money. And the last part you said, I just laughed. That conversation is not an easy conversation, but it's necessary.
It must happen.
It's very necessary because discussing someone.
I know. But the reason even marriages break, it's money. And it's not like somebody went and cheated with the money, but there is no openness. So these are other things. You have more money that you don't have. You have created expectation, but the two of you have never sat down and agreed. Look here, this is what I have. This is what I have, the plans. Yeah. We'll have this discussion one day when you want. When you are able to, we can discuss and do financial planning and wellness and investment and saving and budgeting and debt management.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. JB, I have seen that discussing money with a partner is hard. Now, that makes your life very difficult because you have to keep your wallet so close to yourself. And as an HR, I have maybe as we close, I've had a very hard time. There are some when I used to be in different organizations, there are people who would say, "Don't give me those pay slips. I don't want them." Because he might forget it in his in his wallet.
Yeah.
And then someone sees it. So some gentlemen never picked their pay slips anyway. Because they don't want the evidence. But thank you very much. Thank you, Davis. I think we must definitely have you back on money matters. And investments. Thank you, everyone. You've stayed right in. It's 8:20 or 8:19. But asante sana, thank you for your time. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for being vulnerable, Davis. That was a very authentic conversation, as Faith said. Lillian is saying, I've worked with a toxic boss. Let's see this one now. This toxicity, Davis. I've worked with a toxic boss who shoots down every idea yet demands results. If yes, how did you thrive through? Wow. Maybe you answer that before we... every question is important in conversations with Esther. Yeah. So how did you manage through it?
I've also gone through that. I'll tell you, I don't have a straight answer, but I went and seriously prayed for that guy. Because it was extremely difficult. He wakes up and gives me a Shoko's letter on performance. So, and my performance is actually at 95%, and the minimum is 8%, 60%. So I ask him, why are you exactly writing me a Shoko's letter? We get into trouble. He wakes up and writes an email and copies everyone and tells them, look here, I'm going to put you on PIP. And copies my junior staff. So I don't know what you call toxicity, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the worst thing is that it affects you individually. It affects your mental health. It can even affect your self-esteem. It really gets bad. I have a friend of mine right now. She's dealing with diabetes. She got it because of her workplace. She doesn't eat things that can lead to that. She doesn't have a history of that. But the doctor tells him, look here, you have to go relax and get her point out. At some point, she had even to exit the job. And even this we tell even the younger people who are here is that it's never a straight line. You are going to get nice people in your career as you grow. You are going to get bad ones as you grow. Each one of them were planted in a certain time in your life. Some of them you are really supposed to learn from them, not to do what they do. But importantly, to say is that I think there is a point where you have to be authentic. You have to have a candid conversation. I think so. Some of them might not be open up to that type of conversation, but I am the type who I don't go with problems to my home. So I tell my people all the problems, I leave them at the door of the office. When I get home, I have other problems to deal with. Some of them are my children, some of them are my spouse. I can't take the toxicity that you have put in me to my house. It's going to affect me, it's going to kill me. So I don't have a straight answer, but me, I think conversations have to happen. Sometimes you also have to find who is this person that is greater than him or her. Talk to them, ask them whether they can be able to deal with them. I have a few others who you come to realize some of them have mental issues. They are behaving the way they are behaving because some of them also have mental issues. So sometimes it's maybe if you are lucky to have a good HR, is also to discuss that with them to see how they can also be able to be assisted. I've seen some of them reform. So it cuts this way and it cuts this other way.
Absolutely. I think it happens to be one of the staircases that you might have to step. I've been there, but I'm one straightforward person. Being an HR, then I am one person that will go to the boss, but you need to know when to go to your boss. You need to know what language to use, and you need to know how to get about it. And sometimes you need to exit. There are times that when you feel you've done everything you can, I say there's no
and it's not
amount
working.
of stress or money that is worth your mental health. Yeah. Yes. But I've seen something else. Yeah, what was that? Okay, I think we are done. There's no. Oh, she says thank you. So Lillian, you weigh the situation. If it's getting that bad, I think you got to choose yourself at some point. When you've tried everything else, choose yourself. Choose yourself. Thank you, Davis. Thank you, everyone. Let's see you next week. Next week we host Dr. Washiri, the CEO of Optiven. Asante sana. Good night. God
Thank you
bless
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Davis.
much. God bless you.
Bless you too. Bye.